What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jaleesa, and if you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing the 1-star review. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to be looking at 1-star reviews of my favorite books. And let's just get right into the video. The first book I'm going to be looking at on Goodreads is Crave by Tracy Wolff. If you guys have watched my prior videos, you know that I love this freaking book so much. I think Crave is one of my favorite books ever. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars easily on Goodreads, and I just feel like there should not even be a 1-star review for this book. I'm sure there are, and we're gonna find them, we're gonna read them, because yeah, my phone is acting really weird, so we're gonna be using my computer to do this. Somebody said DNF at chapter 7. I initially started off reading from the physical book and thought it was bad, but then I moved to audio thinking it might be better and would help speed things up since this was a buddy read. Boy, was I wrong. The MC was annoying, and hearing it in audio was worse, not the narrator's fault. The story was slow and lackluster in my opinion. I could literally skip ahead and not have missed anything. DNF at chapter 7? I mean, honestly, did you even try? This person says, I gave this a 1 star and my computer is at 14%, so I don't want to give this too much of my time. Issues I have with this book. This book hinges on the main hot guy, Jackson, being swoony, but he's not developed enough to make him hot or swoony or sexy. He uses winky face emojis. Gross. Okay, valid. He does use winky face emojis, but like, since when did it become cringy? The main character doesn't ask why until page 300. I don't even get what you're talking about in this, like in that comment. Doesn't ask why. Ask why about what? Wolf knows her book is tropey, but she thinks by telling us she knows it's tropey that it's okay to be tropey. Insta love. Did she even read the book? I knew it. I knew this was coming. I knew it. It's too similar to Twilight, but Twilight is immensely better. Yes, I liked Twilight. Everyone is a Mary Sue. She's an effing damsel. What I liked? Nothing. I had nothing else to say. Well, I have lots to say, sis. First of all, for those of you watching, it's nothing like Twilight, I promise. Oh my gosh, Twilight, I didn't read Twilight, but I know enough from the movies to know that Twilight is based on a human girl who falls for a vampire, who also is in love with a werewolf. Literally, the main character in this book is not in love with a werewolf. She's only in love with a vampire. And mind you, it's not insta love, okay? It's really not. This book is about 600 pages long, okay? First of all, they don't fall in love like the middle of the book, so it's not insta love. I'm really upset right now. It takes place at a boarding school and in the middle of Alaska, and the main character isn't just human. So honestly, please stop comparing this book to Twilight. It's nothing like Twilight. Disgusting. I hated this book. Every moment in its text was sheer agony as I sat through description after description of whiny edgelord Jackson Vega's jawline and everyone's tight-fitting, bicep-showing, edgy hipster outfits. Everything was sexy AF and weird AF and OMG like totally FML, emoji, LOL, because teens talk like that according to Tracy Wolff. I get it, but I will also not sit here and act like it was any good. I hated it. It was trash. The story, the characters, the world building, garbage. All of them. Okay, so first of all, right now, this person's talking about Twilight, so not even about Crave. So like, boo. I'm skipping your comment because you have no say-so right now. I'm just saying. And their thing is just like mad long. They wrote a freaking dissertation with a meme in it of Patrick from SpongeBob. I feel like this book wanted to be Twilight so bad that it straight up quoted Twilight at least twice. Okay. It does not mention Twilight. Jackson straight up gave her a copy of Twilight as a warning. Oh wait, okay, maybe he did do that. And then to end is super vague. Nah bro, not about that. I don't even feel like you could call it a cliffhanger because it would barely even explain as to what happened. I think the number of pop culture references and slang words describing Jackson as sexy AF, references to Netflix shows, will age the story badly. So I've heard a lot of people talk about how they don't like pop culture references in books because, of course, be mindful if you do that, it may not age well. However, to be upset that questions are not answered until halfway through the book, I mean, the book is 600 pages long, so like, at what point do you want the answers to come in the first week she's there? Like, personally, I enjoy the fact that Tracy did not release all the information in the first couple chapters. That would have been really stupid and pointless because I wouldn't have read the book at all. And it was a definite cliffhanger and a good one because you find out what Grace really is, and then you actually want to read the freaking sequel. Like, I'm so confused, and clearly they're confused. Yes, there are some things that are cringy, like the sexy AF part. Okay, I get that. And honestly, with these people talking about Twilight, it's like, get over it. Twilight is not the same as Crave. Like, I didn't read Twilight, but I know enough about Twilight to know that Crave is better, and Crave was freaking amazing. So I'm done looking at Crave's ridiculous 1-star comments. I'm over it. So we're gonna move on to the next book. That's another vampire book that I just finished called The Beautiful by Renee Adier, and I loved it. Her book averaged a 3.65 star rating. I definitely prefer Crave over The Beautiful. I do, but The Beautiful was still good. I'm just ready for the friggin' it's like Twilight. It's like Twilight. All right, let's see. First off, The Beautiful, oh the irony, was a boring boring, meaningless garble of him hawing and woe is me inner monologuing. Now, I pushed through, hoping the plot would unfold at some point, but in the first half, almost nothing happened. And so I was deliberating whether or not to put an end to my suffering by suffocation, or, you know, by physically burying my face in this disappointing paper heap of a novel. Side note, if you're going to write a novel about vampires, maybe write about, I don't know, more vampires. Okay. That's a slight point. I'm all for purpley prose, but that didn't stop the tragic realization hollowing my insides and creating a shell of my now very disillusioned self that I really couldn't do this anymore. As for the characters, or what I suppose those stale wafer things with pretty faces taped on were meant to be, Celine, the strong female character who did nothing more but bemoan the sheer arrogance of the opposite gender and willfully stew in an unending cesspit of guilt, indignation, and the mutinous resentments of 19th century feminism. Oh, and how could I forget Bastion / Lucifer / beautiful devil / very subtle apostrophe, I'm a bad boy apostrophe. Okay, yes, Renee did hint to Bastion being the devil and Lucifer many times. I mean, okay, probably more times than she needed to. I mean, it was very obvious that she wanted Bastion to be like this bad boy, no good type of person. Like I said, in Crave definitely had a very direct, these are vampires, these are werewolves, these are whoever the heck else, witches, whatever. In The Beautiful, there were hints to maybe who were vampires and who were not. So, I mean, I guess if you're going into a vampire book wanting to read explicitly about vampires and you wanted it to be made very clear who's vampire, who's not, you might be annoyed with the book. It was fresh, it was different. Like, it wasn't your typical, I'm a vampire and like, oh, I like her. Like, it wasn't a typical vampire book, so I liked it. If you are coming for vampires, run. Seriously, turn away and don't look back. Save yourself. There's not a vampire, not a mention of the word vampire until page 295. 295, guys. This was pitched as a return of vampires in a dark New Orleans historical world full of romance and mystery. It is not. You get New Orleans, and you get mystery, but it's so boring. I almost DNF'd this book so many times, but I kept pushing through hoping that I would get my vampire payoff. I mean, the last few pages you do, but it's not a surprise. You know who they are the whole time, and I see no reason why they couldn't have been revealed prior to the end of the novel. I'm moving on. But like, for me, I didn't hate the book. Now, I will say, I in the beginning, it did take me a minute to get into the story. Once I got into it, I was hooked. I was in because I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to see like the romance take off. I wanted to find out who was a vampire, and I just don't feel the same way as people felt. I really like The Beautiful. So moving on to the next book that I like that people probably don't like, we're gonna go to I rave about this trilogy a lot. So we're gonna do Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. It's so cute, but it's also like, it's like heart gripping at some points, and it just kind of veers into like adolescence into adulthood. It's just really good. It is definitely the love triangle trope, so if you don't like that, you might not like this book either. Well, this trilogy has a 4.43 stars rating, so pretty high actually. I started reading this book with as open of a mind as I could muster. I had read the summary and I wasn't too sure if I wanted to go down the whole who will she choose love triangle road, but I had seen so many good reviews and the average rating is pretty high, so I figured, what the heck, this book could blow every stereotype. And to my surprise, it wasn't the love triangle aspect that ruined the book for me. It was just the awkward writing of almost everything. But when Belly started whining and being such a baby about everything, it really got annoying. And I know she's only like 15 or something, so she's not exactly supposed to be Miss Maturity, but it was just really hard to read through sometimes. It just went downhill after the first book, and I don't even know why I finished the trilogy. There is no plot outside of a love story. All she does is obsess about the boys in Summer House the whole time. But would it have killed the author to have given her other people in her life? Hobbies, maybe. Okay, first of all, Belly, the main character, who grew up with these two boys, they always met together at the summer house because their moms are best friends, and they all would go to, I forgot where they went to, but they had a summer house together and they all lived in the house together. One summer Belly turns pretty and she's like, you know, grown up now, and the boys are noticing her more often. And there's Jeremiah and Conrad, and Conrad's older, Jeremiah the younger brother, and she's kind of had like a thing for Conrad forever, but Conrad's kind of been like a jerk to her. He's kind of like the mean guy, but not really like mean. He's just like the bad boy, the misunderstood one, and Jeremiah's like the golden boy of the family. And so she has like a relationship with both of them at different points in the books. And the mom has cancer and stuff, but also Belly had a whole different boyfriend in one of the books. But the problem I think this person's having is that these books are set in the summertime only. Now there's one book, I think the last book takes place during the school year. I think prom is at the end of the second book, and then the next book, I think they're in college. For the most part, the book follows the three of them in the summertime. So, I mean, of course it is gonna follow them because that's who she's with. So, somebody says, nope, everything about these books made me cringe so bad. At least writing was simple and easy to get through. And that was... My mom's calling, hold on. Hello? Yes. So this person says, nope, everything about these books made me cringe so bad. At least writing was simple and easy to get through, and that was the only reason I made it past till here. Love triangles are hard enough to bear, but when it's between brothers, ugh. P.S. Belly was so frustrating. I'm just 50 pages in, and I have a strong feeling I won't like this. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Those three words perfectly describe this trilogy. I cannot fathom why the series even has such a high rating. Belly was so irritating. She acted as though her life revolved around the Fisher boys. She had no backbone and always worried that the boys wouldn't like her. Her personality was honestly so sickening. I don't know how I got myself to read the whole trilogy. So for this trilogy, this is how I feel about it. Because a lot of people are complaining about Belly and how she was immature and she was like a whiny baby or whatever. First of all, when you were 15, were you very mature? Because I know 15-year-old me, I mean, I probably too was boy crazy. I was a whiny baby. She wants to be seen by these boys, not like seen as like attractively, but she wants to be seen in front of these guys who have overlooked her for so long. She doesn't want to mess things up with either one of the brothers. She cares about both of them deeply. Their family means a lot to her. So I feel like they're being a little bit hard on Belly's character. Also, I feel like with Belly, she was young, yes. Did her life revolve around these two boys? Yes. But that's because her summer revolved around these two boys. Yes, she was obsessed with this beach house, but that beach house meant more to her than just a beach house. Hands down, I love this book better than this trilogy, better than the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy. Like, I don't know. I just disagree with them completely. Okay, so the next book I'm going to be reading the ratings for is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. There, somehow, 8 people decided to fix their fingers and type a 1-star review for her book. And I just don't see how that's possible, but we're gonna read them. So somebody says, this book began weak and continued to diminish. I wanted to DNF it, but I didn't due to work reasons, but man, I was unimpressed with this work, which makes me sad because I liked the dance aspect. I thought Chloe's love of dance was the best part of the whole thing. The entire premise is ridiculous, like this freaking review if you ask me. It's like it was trying too hard to be a rom-com. And maybe it's the place I'm at in my life, but I didn't want to read about a young girl lying to her mother to make a dance audition and somehow gets tricked into taking a boy she hates, who you know she's going to fall in love with, and a dog. Because, ... we had to have some sort of plot, I guess. Chloe was annoying and whiny. Shut up about your overprotective mother already. I get it, really, I have one. But you need to realize her perspective. That's out of love and how blessed you are to have a mother that cares so deeply about you. I'm about to fall asleep from this review. Or just tell her and talk to her about how you feel. This whole thing wouldn't have happened if Chloe had just trusted her mom and trusted that relationship. If she just trusted her mother, would there even be a book? I didn't think so. And that everything happens for a reason morale they were trying to pull off was just lame and unnecessary. Eric is a dick. Who is Eric? Who is Eric? Now, this person received the book as an arc, so I don't know if his name was changed from Eric to Eli. There, I said it. Again, it was like the book was trying too hard to make him a bad boy, but then he had no redeemable qualities except that he was an artist and said he was sorry about a thing that was not entirely his fault. This book was weak all around, with weak voice, characters, plot, and writing. Moving on. Next book, her whole entire review. Garbage. Chloe is trying to reach her dream that her overprotective mother won't let her go and audition for. If Chloe would have told her mom the truth, the whole book wouldn't have been there would be no reason for the book. For her to call Chloe whiny though. Moving on to the next one. Okay, cool. That was the only review of this book. So honestly, that one review was enough for me. I'm glad there aren't anymore because I can't take it. Now we're gonna do a different book that I read. We're gonna do a love-hate thing. I love this book. I should probably give you like a backstory. It follows this boy, Trice. He was shot and he goes and moves in with this girl and her family that he grew up with, Nandy. She's from like an affluent neighborhood, money, that whole thing, and then he's not. And so he kind of, their world kind of crash. And they kind of just get to know one another on a deeper level, and I really like that part about them, because teenagers, yes, they may be young, but they're people still, and teenagers really have a lot about them that makes them who they are. So this person said, dude, I tried so effing hard. It started great, but then things got so boring with everyday crap that meant nothing. Nandy seriously needs an attitude adjustment. She's a spoiled little B-word that acts like a 12-year-old. She has a boyfriend and still wants Trice all to herself. She hates it when he shows interest in her best friend, who has a lot of issues and seems to genuinely like Trice back. When Trice finds out Nandy is uber jealous, he drops the best friend, even though Nandy has a boyfriend. I need a drink. You need perspective is what you need. Actually, I don't even know who the person is, but this is clearly a grown person calling a teenage girl in a book, a YA romance book, spoiled little B-word. Also, Nandy's whole persona in this book really is kind of based on like the whole, she comes from money, she comes from status, she wants a life of status, that's what she's been taught, and she finds out that there's more to life than being on the arm of being the arm candy of this, you know, this man. But she learns in this book that that's not the case, and she chooses her own path. So like, for this person to say this stuff about her, it's kind of like, okay, it's like you read the first half of the book and then just disregarded the latter half of the book. I don't get it. And this person's being very hard on her. I don't like it. Somebody said, I didn't even finish, and you shouldn't even be commenting. What are you reviewing? I'm so confused. When you have what's essentially the OC with a racial twist told from two point of views, one a poor black boy and the other a rich white girl, that sound exactly the same, there needs to be something good to bring readers in. Sadly, no. DNF. First of all, she was not a rich white girl, she was a rich black girl. Honestly, I feel like now your whole review, your whole take on this book, the part that you've read, is just kind of like out the window now, because it's not like, okay, moving on. I was given an e-arc of this book in exchange for my honest opinion. Unfortunately, I did not get around to reading this book until it was already published, so I decided to listen to it audibly, as I've really been enjoying audiobooks lately and thought this would be a really great way to read this book. After getting a quarter of the way through the book, however, I had decided to DNF it. Some of the things that I liked about this book were the overall premise and the actual writing style, but unfortunately, I was unable to connect to the characters at all and found the main female character to be too whiny and portrayed as a very snotty rich girl who didn't seem to care about anyone else but herself. I was so taken aback by her thoughts and behavior regarding someone coming from a specific town because of the way the town was portrayed in media, but was even more appalled when her thoughts didn't seem challenged when she realized that she had previously known the boy and had been friends with him in the past. She seemed very ingrained in her ways, and while I know that the development would be coming in future chapters, I just found myself reading each of the chapters from her point of view. Okay, so my first initial thoughts on this review, which is interesting. She talked about how she couldn't connect with the characters. There are some people who can read a book and it may not be, the characters in the book may not really be relatable personally for them, but they can still really enjoy a well-written book, a well-written story. Like, I have read plenty of books with characters that I could not relate to in one bit, not in one sense, but I enjoyed the story I was being told because it's a story, you feel me? So this whole, like, I just couldn't connect to the characters. Okay, well, what about the story? Like, it's either a good story or it's not. I don't understand that. And then her saying that the main character is too whiny and portrayed as very snotty. That was the whole point of Name's character, was she was a snotty rich girl. Like, that was what her character was. So like, you may not like it. I just feel like there are people who are failing to see her character development in this book. Like, Nandy has some development, and I hate the fact that people are grazing over this. Like, everyone's DNFing this book and then having the audacity to have an opinion about Nandy's character. Then she goes on to say that she was taken aback by her thoughts and behavior regarding someone coming from a specific town because of the way the town is portrayed in media. And that isn't real freaking life. Like, let's be real here. You hear, I don't know, you hear a certain city or state and you just automatically think about a certain type of person. So like, that's the reality of a lot of people's life. Some, not all people, some people have a preconceived notion of what kind of person you are, what kind of life you live based on where you're from. This wasn't even worth reading her review. It was just dumb. You DNF the book, and then you have this strong opinion about You didn't like Nanny's character, and everyone's talking about Nanny. If y'all have read this book, which y'all have, some of y'all have not, I want y'all to, because there are other characters in this book who she should have a bigger problem with other than Nanny. Trust and believe. There's the boyfriend. Closing my laptop. The boyfriend. I have a lot I can say about her little boyfriend. Okay, but nobody in this these little reviews here talked about the boyfriend or the best friend. People had so much to say about Nanny. Hilarious. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little video here. It was just like an impromptu little video, something fun to do. I enjoyed it. I mean, as much as I really hate reading one-star reviews of books I really love, because I just don't think it's possible to rate the books that I love 1 star. But apparently I've been bamboozled and I've been fooled. But okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe, and don't forget to tap that little notification bell so that you can be notified about when I upload new content. As always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!